Alright, what you got here is two RC10GT2s. This one's still a Nitro. And to convert your Nitros to electric, what you got to look at here on these Team Associated GT2s is this braking mount, this brake caliper, I guess you'd call it, mount. There's one on the top and one on the bottom, and they are perfectly flush with each other, and they stick out from the transmission just far enough. There's also holes already pre-drilled for you, so it makes it real simple. You don't have to buy a kit. Anyone can do this with a drill. Even a file and a drill is all you really need. Now, Nitro is attached to the chassis. You need to make sure it's attached to your transmission. No matter what you do, high torque electric motors will strip your gearing out all the time until you attach them directly to the transmission. So what you're gonna do is get that clamp on here, send your drill through for those two holes, top and bottom. Once those holes are located, pass your screws through. You can go all the way through if you want with really long ones, and you can put nuts on the other side. Make sure to screw into the nut, put the nut flush with the hole, because I don't know if you can get a wrench on there to turn it. Once those two are lined up right here, top and bottom, I took the old transmission mount that went to your center plate, and I hacked that, the plastic one, and drilled through here and attached another screw, and it actually helps. It really does. Attaches it to the transmission a little, a little stronger. This is a 15 can motor. You're not probably going to put a 15 can motor in it. What you're probably going to run is a 540 can, and a 540 can is what these are meant for. So as you can see, the top hole has some slight adjustment, but because of the angle, I don't get much adjustment out of it because the other hole down here is fixed. So you're going to be able to use both holes, top and bottom, with your 540 can. You're going to be able to get plenty of adjustment to get your mesh right. This is fixed, so you really can only play with a couple different gear ratios on this one. Really what's important though is just make sure this plate is perpendicular to that shaft, that top shaft, and make sure your motor shaft is directly parallel with your transmission shaft. If those two are in line with each other and your plate's nice and vertical and straight with the chassis, not off at an angle, then your motor's going to mount at the right angle to your spur gear. Your pinion gear and spur gear will match right up, and you won't have any problem with your mesh. If you screw up on that plate, it's really easy to shim. If you want to put some shims down in here, I did that before I found out I needed to clearance this a little more. So once I clearanced that, you can see where it was rubbing. It brought it in nice and flush, but before I did that, I stuck some shims in the back side here and just kind of popped that plate away from the transmission, and that made my mesh line up right at the time. I don't need that anymore, but there's really nothing special to this. Don't go paying a bunch of money for a conversion kit. Just get yourself a piece of aluminum and a file and a drill and pretty much have fun with it. It's not really too important, and if you strip a $5 spur gear out, lesson learned, just redo it again, and it's really a simple process. What's amazing is you're converting an old Nitro car into a mid motor, which is competitive now on the high traction clay tracks of today. These old rear motor cars, no matter what you've done to them, they just cannot keep up with these cars of today. So you convert these things to mid motor, and this is a GT1, and what you're left with is a really competitive car, and you can get these things out, 20 plus years old, back on the track. If you have an older GT1, which probably isn't too common, these older GT1s are even easier to convert because it uses this hole right here. This hole is one of the original holes on the plate. And then you just have to slightly relocate that bottom hole. You probably could line it up and over drill the center hole here. The reason you have to drill the center hole is to pass the transmission case and to get it close enough and far enough back that when you're running the original top shaft that has the hex and pin, that it won't grind on this, it won't catch on this, and it'll clear it. So if you're not going to convert, you can convert your old GT1s to these top shafts. They're real simple to do. I haven't done it to all of them, but I run stock stuff here. This is a eBay motor mount. I it works okay. I don't like how it leaves dirt grinding up underneath it. I guess I could put a pad there or something, but it's not clearance for that either, so I need to space the transmission out. But there's really no special way to do this. There's no reason to pay a bunch of money for these plates. You can just get a T4 plate here and really just go have fun with it. It only takes a couple minutes, and if you've got a couple tools, you can get these things to scream 100 miles an hour maybe.